looking at the hips and walking. Now, the best part about your milestones is you've got walking. However, it cause complications because everybody sees that a child's walking, they're okay. Okay? But now from walking, we've got to go into running, we have to go into skipping, and we have to go into the spinning milestones. Rolling down a hill, your bicycle, cartwheels, all those kind of things, because we need to now experience life from all different directions, right? Not just upright, where we can do these things. So that's when you start seeing kids doing these kind of things and whatever, because they're playing with all of that. But one of the things with walking is where you see the complications. Now, I have femoral torsion, so especially my right leg is quite crooked. What happened was that when they worked with your child, the feet want to go out here, right? And I had club feet. So I had Dennison bars. So if you look at my legs, my feet, right, my knees are made for crawling, right? And here, one second. Ellie, sweetheart, I'm doing a live. Can you just not talk for 1 second? Thanks. Sorry. So they did bars on my feet. Nobody looked at my hips. So I have femoral torsion, and they're crooked because of the bars. So if my feet go straight, I'm knock-kneed. And that's my load. I walked till I was 21 months. But one of the things that you look at is your child turning inward through the pubic bone, where they had a good pubic bone stripe, or are they turning outward? And what does that mean? So they're turning this way, and they're sort of dancing around, right? So they're here, and they're turning around. So if a child goes like this and walks down the hallway and spins, right? See, I did a backwards turn. That's a big one. Or are they walking down the hallway and they're doing an outward turn, right? Because the chest can't rotate. So you're not seeing, so again, when you're walking something like this, and where do these complications show up? Like I worked with someone that was going from state championships ice skating into nationals. And what his biggest problem was is when he was coming off his singles, he didn't have that control. His foot was dropping, and so that drop prevented him to get into the position for his next jump, right? Something that could be easily managed, but again, we want optimal development for everybody. If you want your kid to be playing with the Kansas City Chiefs, or maybe you don't, but you want them at that level, these kind of little movements have to happen. So if you're noticing too, kids that walk like this, just guess what? When you don't have good vision in the middle of the night, this is where your hands go. So this is where too, if I see a child walking like this with their hands up, they're protecting their face and they don't have the depth perception, so they're using their hands to get to where they are, right? This is different than a vestibular going like this where I want that kind of and stuff. And then you'll see kids kind of do this kind of thing. They play with their environment when they're typical. But when they're not typical, they're using their environment for support. Just like your grandma might doing after a good fall. She'll be like, oh, I have to be careful. But if there's somebody using something for this, input to stabilize your body, that's where it's not optimal development, right? If they're doing these kind of things and like that, and they're trying to go sideways, doing these little baby parkour things, then you see the development coming. Typical kids can walk backwards. Atypical kids have to turn around. Now you're gone. And then you're saying, oh, he doesn't respond to his name. Why? Most likely because he can't even do this. What, Mom? Right? So if you call Johnny, 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 that again, right there. See how I had to stabilize and then look? My eyes might be fine, but my functional vision isn't. So all these little things come into play. And I get it that you might not see them because, not that you're just a parent, no parent's looking to see, oh, does my child have good vision? Now, these kind of things too, I can tell you right now, I'm at very low risk for Alzheimer's because I can do these kind of things, right? I can tell you right now, anyone with starting to go into dementia, so the milestones continue with us for life, but they evolve. This is why I don't like the word integration, like reflex integration. If I'm doing something like this, right, and I'm coming up and doing, guess what, guys? I better have a darn good neuro, because that's what this is, or if I'm doing a cartwheel, right, that's a moral that's not so much integrated, it's still working with my system, advancing me. Now, the person that doesn't have a great neuro or depth perception or vision, I can go into lots of reasons why this might not be a thing, but this is something I play with, right? I do cables all the time, so I can do these things. It's not a show-off. I just know that these milestones are very important. But again, when you're seeing your child still using the couch for stability versus, again, that's okay that they touch things. You're going to touch everything. They're kids and pick up things. Those are the things that you're looking for. So when the hips have issues, and you see them, really the telltale sign is the turn. I don't have a good turn because, again, see, when I turn, my hip is turning, my knee hasn't crossed midline, right? Whereas, see that twist in her, I can't do that twist, right? See how much this is easier where I can do it, but this, I either have to have a superior midline twist here or in my sacrum area, but that's very difficult for me. Did that prevent me from doing things? Not necessarily, but I had to do them differently. But I'll never be an Olympic athlete thanks to the structure of my system. That's okay, but I don't want your kid to decide their future because the structure is not there. Thanks.